All right. So before we start, let's say a very short prayer. Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for the life of everyone on this call, and we pray that at the end of this meeting, take all the glory in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. All right. Now, as regards migrating to the Russian Federation, right? My name is Adeni Rasamo. A lot of people you've met me. A lot of people know me as Kelly. That's my nickname. So, I want to say a very big welcome to you wherever you're connecting from. All right. So yeah, now talking about migrating to the Russian Federation, there are a lot of important things that you need to know. All right, and I think one of the first key thing is talking about how do you gain access into the federation. It's very important that you need to understand. Okay, how do I come in? Okay, some of you, coming into Russia, you of course you want to travel abroad. You have different purpose in mind. Some of you want to come for tourist. Some of you maybe just to visit. Some of you want to come and work. Some of you want to come and study. All right. Now, and that's why this part is very, very important so that, because of course, it's different from other countries and you need to understand. That's why a lot of people know me. I don't talk about any other country. I only talk about Russia because this is where I know. You understand what I'm saying? So, now, as far as Russia is concerned, all right, you want to come to Russia. The best visa I used to advise people to get is the study visa. Yes. A lot of people ask me, why do you advise people to get a study visa? Now that's because some people think when they get a tourist visa, when they come to Russia, they can change it. I used to tell people the truth there is that you can't change a tourist visa. If you're coming with a tourist visa, it must be for the purpose of tourist. So the best visa to get is the study visa. I used to advise people, you want to come to Russia, you want to stay here, you want to work here, one of the easiest visas you can get is the study visa that's not going to stress you. I know probably some of you, you don't want to school again and all like that, but of course, I mean, school no be scam. Maybe, but here, no, you understand. So basically, you can study and work, all right, in the sense that, you're able to balance the two. You understand? And why is it like that? One of the reasons why I used to advise people to get a study visa is because when you have a study visa, of course, as a food, you can work with your study visa. You don't need a work permit to work. You can work with your study visa. You understand? And also, number three is that when you have a study visa, you can easily change your study visa to a temporary residence. You understand? So, which means that after like 1 year after like 1 year in Russia, you can change it to a temporary residence. And of course, after temporary, what is left is permanent. You understand? So, of course, that's you're on your way to getting your residence permit in the country. You understand? In one of the most easiest way. You know how hard struggle people get, how the struggle people face in other countries to get their residence permit or you understand. But yeah, as a student, I feel it's gonna make, a lot of things easier for you because once you don't get the temporary residence permanent, no, straight to permanent. So as long as you don't have any criminal issues, you don't have any criminal records here and all like that, you understand. So these are reasons why I used to advise people to get the study visa. Very important. You understand? Now, you're getting the study visa. What do you want to come and study? Some of you, you're coming here for your master's. Some of you are coming for bachelor's. Some of you are coming for PhD. All right. Yes. In terms of education, Russia is I'll say one of the most cheapest and one of the most cheapest and quality education ever. When you look at what the amount students are paying here and the amount students are paying in other countries, you'll be looking like, what are they giving them here that they're not giving them? So I'm not trying to compare anyway. Everybody have their, but of course, when you're looking at affordability, then I think Russia is one of the best options that you can consider. All right, because you can do your. But for me, now listen, for some of you, maybe you don't understand, but let me break this down. Okay, now I used to advise people to start with a language program. Now, that's because, of course, you know that here is not an English speaking country. All right. The language they speak here is the Russian language. So they have their own language. All right. So, and I used to tell people that if you are living in a country whereby you don't understand the language, you are just like an illiterate. You are just like, so you and I think that's one of the things that the language program is going to do for you. Now, for those that don't understand what language program means, it's like a foundational program It's always required for international students to do it first. You understand? So you do your language program first for 1 year. Then after that program, then automatically you can now start your bachelor's, you can start your master's. You understand? So it makes it like very, very easy, so you can start your bachelor's immediately after. You can. So for me, what I used to do is that when I'm submitting documents for all my clients, I submit together with their main degree, because so that it's very good. It's going to be easy for you, so that when you finish the language program, automatically, the school already registers you for your bachelor's, your master's. You understand? So even after your language program, you don't have to start looking for admissions again. You understand what I'm saying? Now, for those that don't really understand what the language program really means, let me give you some benefit of the language program. Now, it's your choice. You can decide to say, okay, Kelly, I want to start with the language program for 1 year. Then when I finish, I would start my bachelor's, master's. And you can decide to say, okay, Kelly, I don't want the language program. I just want to go for my bachelor's directly. I want to go for my master's directly. It's your choice. The language program is not compulsory, but it is necessary. I'll put it that way. It is not compulsory, but it is necessary. All right. So it's your choice. You can decide to do it, you can decide not to do it. All right. But me, I'll advise you to do it, because even the Bible says, if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? So it's a foundational program, which is very, very important. And let me give you there are a lot of benefits. With go of time, I'll give you about 3, 4 of them. I think one of the most important benefits of the language program is the fact that it's going to help you to understand the language. You can't take the fact that the language is important out of it. You understand? Yeah, because I said something before, for those that understand, that if you're living in a country whereby you don't understand the language, you're just like an illiterate. You understand what I'm saying? You're just like an illiterate. So the language program is going to help you to have a basic understanding of their language. Yeah. And I think another benefit of the language program is for those that also are interested in scholarship programs. When you're in the federation, there are a lot of scholarship programs you can participate. For me, I feel it's always much more easier to get scholarship when you're already in Russia than when you're from Nigeria. You understand? But just that scholarship have, so some of you have a lot of students whereby after their language program, they are doing their master's or their bachelor's for free. They're doing a scholarship, but scholarship has some kind of restrictions. Of course, it's scholarship, they are paying your tuition, so you understand. So I'm just trying to give you another benefit of this language program is the fact that it's going to make your travel process much more easier. Talking about documentation, now for the documentation you need, listen everyone. Now, all you need for those that are starting with, for those that are you're going to be starting with the language program, and after the language program, you're going to start your bachelor's, right? All you need is your international passport and your O-level result. Now, when I say O-level, I'm talking about your WAEC or your NECO. And it has to be the original, okay? Now, if you have a soft copy, we can start with the soft copy, but at the embassy, they only collect the original from you. That is all you need. That's all the documents you need, nothing more, nothing less. If you're coming for masters, additionally, you need your BSc certificate and transcript, not HND. HND, ND, all of those things are not recognized in Russia for masters, really. So if you have HND or ND, if you have that kind of question to ask me later, just forget about that question. So if you have HND and ND on this call, you're listening to me right now, for as far as Russia is concerned, you can only do bachelor's. Yeah, because even at the embassy, they won't collect the HND from you. So you can let me just be like that, but I hope you get my advice. So if you feel like you want to go and do it somewhere else, no problem. Then because it happened last year, told somebody about it and he went back. So he was thinking maybe I didn't want to do it for him, So, but then, in fact, some school can even accept HNDSF for masters, but the issue is at the embassy. If they don't collect a document at the embassy, then how would you now get the visa? So it's all pointless. You understand? So if you know you're coming for HND, also have that at the back of your mind. Okay, I'm coming to do my bachelor's, not masters. You understand? So, but once you have your BSc certificate and the transcript, then you can go for masters. And for those that are going for PhD, you need to have your master's degree, certificate, and transcript. So when you have your master's degree, certificate, and transcript, then and don't forget with your international passport. All right. Now that international passport note must have minimum of 18 months validity, which means that your international passport must be 18 months and above. Anything less than that will not be able to work. It has to be 18 months and above. Your WAEC or NECO, you must have minimum of 4-5 credits. For BS certificate and transcript, anything that is below third class, please, you don't need to send it to me. All right, because it's going to take a lot of stress on that, which I'm not ready to go for. You understand? So, but those are the basic requirements. You understand? So that's all you need to have all your needs met. Nothing like proof of funds. Let me say it again. For now, I don't know about tomorrow, but for now, as far as Russia is concerned right now, you don't need proof of funds, you don't need sponsorship letter, you don't need bank statement, you don't need all of that. Just your basic educational document is all you need to have all your needs met. Except for maybe those that now need affidavit. You understand? Now, but for those that are coming for maybe direct bachelor, direct masters, the only difference is that you might be asked to write exam, then you might be asked to bring some, it just depends. Maybe if it's bachelor, if it's masters, bring some reference letters, bring some, so, which of course, some people might not really want to, go into that stress at the beginning. Don't forget, I'm still talking about part of the benefit of the language program. So the language program is going to make the whole travel this thing easy for you, you understand? So, and even in terms of affordability, say, because the tuition fee you're going to be paying for the first year is going to be for the language program, you understand? Of course, which is most times is always much, much cheaper compared to main degree programs. You understand? So if you look at it from the part of affordability too, or for the part of like making the admission much more easier on you, then starting with the language program, it's a very better option. You understand? So you just know that when you finish, even within that 1 year self, you would have used it to like get yourself familiarized with the city, know people. So before that 1 year go elapse, by the time you are starting your main degree program, your legs go down strong for ground. You understand what I'm saying? So you can see it as, giving yourself like, a soft land, because of course, even the lecture time self for language programs, you can't compare it to main degree programs. You understand? Language program is much more flexible. You understand? Whereby you have more time to be able to do whatever you want to do. Of course, I know most of you will be working with that time. So yeah. And I think one of the benefits I also like to mention, because this one has helped me, is the certificate that you are going to get when you finish. When you finish the language program, they are going to give you a certificate. This certificate shows that you have been, certified. You have gone through the foundational rudiment, the foundational necessity for international. So of course, whosoever can know, nobody can know. It can be useful for you maybe in the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. When mine was useful for me, I didn't know they were even going to ask me. Because of course, it's not your country, you're an international student. So, I don't know, it might be a job, it might be maybe one opportunity, they'll just ask you for it, And once you don't get them, you don't get them already. So that's just that on that. I will not want to say much more on that again. So I believe you already understand what I'm saying. Okay. So you can either start, and trust me, either you start with the language program or not, everybody is studying in English. You understand? Either you start with the language program or not, everyone is studying in English. You understand? So even if you start with language program, I started with the language program. When I finished, I'm doing my master's. I'm doing it in English. If you do direct master's or direct, you still study in English. You understand what I'm saying? So all is just to make like the whole travel thing like, much more easier. You understand what I'm saying? All right. Then also, talking about because I believe everyone can hear me clearly. All right. And we're getting everything I'm saying. Now, people used to also ask me about the budget. That okay, Now, I've told you about the documentations, the documents you need, and all the necessary things that needs to be done. All right. So now, people also always ask me about how long does the process take, how much is the budget, and all like that. Now, for the budget, I used to tell people right now, you want to come to Russia right now, at least, you need to have a budget of like maybe 4 to 5 million naira. I'm talking about for your like whole travel process. You understand? And I think that's still one of the most cheapest country to do right now. You understand? For those that don't have, so much amount to be going to some other countries, trust me, there's nothing you're looking for in other countries that you cannot get here. Nothing. You understand? Forget about those things you have been hearing. I will still talk about all this war thing you have been hearing up and down. Russia is actually one of the best countries that you can travel to. And I repeat, there is nothing you're looking for in another country that you can't get here, really. You understand? So, and please, I'm not saying if you don't have 4 or 5 million naira now, you cannot start, or if you must have 4 or 5 million before you start. I only give you a budget. When I say budget, I'm talking about inclusion of your tuition fee, inclusion of your flight ticket. So I'm giving you just a budget. You understand? Normally, you know that travel abroad is in process, travel abroad is in stages. You understand? So it is always stage by stage. So if you need like how would I say, if you for those that I'm sure some of you have the breakdown, my breakdown of payment. For those that don't have the breakdown of payment, you can come to my DM and request for it. You understand? I'll send a breakdown of payment so you'll be able to see how you can make your payment step by step, so it doesn't choke you, so it doesn't, because like I said before, travel abroad is in stages. It's always from one stage to another. You understand? Let me just give you like the major touches for this one. For example, we start with the translation, start with the notarization and stamping, before the application, get your admission letter, or pay your tuition fee, get your receipt, submit your document to the immigration, process the invitation letter and all like that. So in general, this process takes about 2 months, 3 months. And I'll say sometimes also it depends on the intake that the student wants to go for. For example, I have some people that have started their process with me now that are telling me they want to come by, next year, April, May. You understand? Some people want to come by January, February. You understand? I used to tell people the earlier the better. Travel abroad does not get cheaper. It gets more and more expensive. It doesn't get easier. It gets more and more difficult. So the earlier, the better for everyone. You understand? So if you know you're interested after this meeting, what do? You can send your document over. You can come for the January, you can come by next year, early next year, January, February, March, April, so you can get to start your process on time and also plan your movement ahead for next year, which this is November. So if you're planning something great for yourself for early next year, like traveling abroad, I think this is the best time, to get yourself locked in. So just send all the required documents, please. And if you're sending your document to me, please, I'm begging you, don't send me pictures. Send them to me in form of PDF. Send them to me in form of document. All right. Do a proper scan and send them to me in form of PDF. All right. So, and also after this call, for those that you are interested in the breakdown of payment, please come to my DM to request for the breakdown. Okay. So I'm going to send you the payment breakdown so you can see how you can make your payment step by step. All right. Now, like I said before, when I was talking about the breakdown of the whole process, from the translation to the, stamping, authorization, get your admission, the invitation letter, once you get your admission letter, you pay your tuition. Now, paying of tuition depends on the school. I think let me also talk about this. Now, most of the schools I work with, they're going to ask you to pay 50% of your tuition. All right. There are always 3 things you need to look at. And I'm saying this for the sake of those also doing other agents. You understand? So Russia is very big. So, and when you're looking at going to, working, please, if you know you don't trust for your travel plan, please work with an agent that you trust. I'm saying this again. Work with an agent that you trust. Work with an agent that knows what he's doing. You understand? Because there are a lot of, let me say, there are some cities that, I don't really advise, or even me, I don't do personally. It could be maybe because the city is too expensive, or because I feel like, one reason or the other. You understand what I'm saying? Because there are 3 important things you need to look at in a city. First of all, the opportunity-wise, also maybe the African community, You understand? And also in terms of affordability, that's very, very important. You understand? Russia has a very good standard of living, but not all cities are the same. Some cities are very, very expensive, which to me, I feel like as a new person coming to hustle, it doesn't even make sense for you to say you want to go there. You understand what I'm saying? Uh, so now for the tuition fee now, most of the schools I work with, they're gonna ask you to pay 50% of the tuition fee. I'm doing some schools for some of my clients right now, whereby they are not even paying any tuition from Nigeria until they arrive in Russian Federation. Some schools are like that. They can allow you to come and pay your tuition on arrival. Why some of them will say pay 50%, the remaining one when you come and pay. Okay. So it all depends on which one you want. All right. I think right now we still have schools that they are doing payment on arrival. So and also we have those that are doing 50%. But I don't really work with schools that collect 100% tuition from students, because this whole thing is all about affordability, and all like that. So once tuition is paid, you get your receipt, then we'll process the invitation. That invitation letter is a document that takes time the most. Sometimes it takes about 45 working days sometimes because it's an immigration document. It's that document that shows that you have been invited by the Russian Federation to come and study here. That's the document you'll be submitting at the embassy. You understand? Now, as far as I'm concerned, for those that are, I'm going to be the one to take, the whole process. Even once your document is out, submission at the embassy, I'm going to be the one. I'm going to prepare you for everything, and by the special grace of God, you're going to get your visa. You're going to be seeing very soon. Some of you are maybe just joined the platform. Some of you have been on my platform. You could see a lot of visas. So I'm trying to check for something. So you could see a lot of visas that we have been posting and all like that. And I know that everyone on this call also, you're next in line for your own testimony by the special grace of God. All right. So I believe everyone can still hear me clearly. All right. I believe we are together. I believe we are enjoying the section. Please, while the meeting is going on, if you have questions, you can drop them on my chat. While the meeting is going on, if a question pop in your mind, you can drop it on the chat. But I'm going to be reading them after I finish. So you can locate my chat and you can send messages there. Okay. So, but if you have any question, but I don't want to get distracted by it. So when I finish, I'm gonna go check those questions one by one. You understand what I'm saying? All right, good.